In this video, we're going to go over exactly how I like to create e-commerce performance max campaigns. So this is a much requested video, and basically we're going to go over every step that I like to do in order to have this created. Now, these are the steps here. What I like to start with is our strategy, and then our ad copy before I even start attempting to make a campaign or start the build at all. I like to have both in place, specifically your ad copy. This is the one that's going to take a lot of time to do. However, I do have some tools for you to use in order to make your life a little bit easy. So first of all, let's go over the strategy. So I have a video created where I go over a higher, a lower ROAS split or segmentation for performance max campaigns for a e-com account. Now that video will be linked in the description, so make sure to watch that one. But overall, what it is, it's an 80-20 split. And this is based upon the fact 80% of your sales comes from 20% of your products. And that's how we want to split our performance max campaign. And the way we have it split is we have a higher ROAS campaign and a lower ROAS campaign. Our higher ROAS campaigns are housing our more popular products, which we want to segment into specific product asset groups, or similar to what the old term is SKAGs, single keyword ad groups. This is what we sort of have the terminology with it here. So these are product specific asset groups, whereas our lower ROAS campaign is product group asset groups. So these are housing multiple different products, whereas this one is housing just single product with the product variants of either color or size within it. Okay, and the reason we have this in short is so we can be more specific with our ad copy, more specific with our images, more specific with our videos, and more specific with our audience signals if we can be that granular with it. So make sure to watch that video. I'm not going to explain it any really further than that. But yeah, so that's our strategy. For this example, we're going to be using a higher ROAS campaign, and we're going to only make one asset group. Because typically what I do, I create one asset group and duplicate it and then go tweak it in Google Ads Editor. That's the way I like to do things because it's the most efficient way to do it. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to make one asset group with all the bells and whistles, so don't worry about that. And what we're going to be doing this about is a product called a sauna suit. So this is an RDX H2 weight loss sauna suit, and we're going to be making this asset group PMAX campaign all about this. So there we are. We have our strategy sorted. Next thing we want to move on to is our ad copy. Now, this is going to be linked in the description. And what this is a performance max ad copy framework. This is a framework that I like to use within my performance max campaigns in order to have some structure to my ad copy. So if you see here, each of our headlines follows a criteria. So we have our product name, product description, benefit, social proofing, CTA. And this is then repeated as well for our descriptions. So we have product name, desired outcome, address, objection 1. CTA, product benefits, social proofing, delivery. So you see our ad copy follows a structure here, and this is so we can include all of the psychological elements a user needs in order to convert through Google Ads. And the benefit of also doing it like this, which is when you get into more Google Ads Editor type realms, is you can basically go through here and you can copy and paste it into Google Ads Editor, which makes it a lot easier to upload, and I won't have to go through like I will in this video and copy and paste everything into it. But for the sake of this video and for probably your experience of being on the in-browser rather than Ads Editor, I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, so we have our strategy done, we have our ad copy done. Next thing we're going to go on to is actually building out our campaign. And what we start with is our campaign settings. So let's go over to this account here, and what we're going to do is go to new campaign. And by the way, the reason why my Google Ads is black is because I use a dark mode. I have a lot of screen time from my job, so I like to use dark mode because it makes everything a lot less bright and makes my eyes a lot less dry, is what my doctor would say. So we go to new campaign here, and of course we're going to be optimizing for sales. And next thing we want to select is our conversion goals. Now this is going to be purchases. We only want to optimize for purchases because we are an e-com account. So we're going to deselect the phone call ones and we're going to go ahead with purchases. Next thing we want to do is select our campaign type, which is PMAX. Next thing we want to do is assign our Merchant Center account, which probably is only going to be one in there. So that's pre-selected. If not, you want to make sure your merchant account is actually connected to your Google Ads account. Next thing we're going to do is putting our naming convention. Now the little G thing I have at the front is for an agency sort of symbol. If you have worked with agencies before, you will notice that every agency uses their sort of branding in their accounts. Okay, and so that's what the thing is at the start. And then we have a higher ROAS, I should probably call it, PMAX, and then UK is for our targeted location. So there we go, campaign name done. Let's go to continue. And next thing we want to go to is bidding. Now, I focus on conversion value for Performance Max campaigns. And will we be setting a target ROAS? And the answer is no, we won't. Not to begin with anyway, because we want to leave it wide open because we need data. PMAX especially needs data. It needs lots of it. And in order to get that quicker, the best way to do that is to not set a TROAS target there. And there's other reasons why TROAS isn't as effective as people want. I'm not going to dwell on this now in this video because I could go on for it for a while, but we're not going to be setting it for now, and we will turn it on later, probably around 4 weeks time. Really, you need a lot of data to go to it before you even want to attempt to put a TROAS on it. Next thing is an option we're going to leave blank again, which is customer acquisition. So again, we're going to leave this blank to begin with because we want data. However, I do like to have this selected in my campaigns. And I typically like to bid higher for new customers than for existing customers. You can bid only for new customers. If this is within your marketing objective, do this, absolutely. However, I typically just go for bid higher for new customers than existing customers. But as I said, we need data, so both of these are going to be deselected, and we're going to make sure we have conversion value as our optimization. So let's go to next. Then we want to go to the United Kingdom for our targeting location. Next thing we want to select is language, which is going to be English, and automatically created assets. Now, I like to deselect final URL. Unless you have some excluded URLs that you're really on top of, I typically don't do this. And specifically because we're doing this for a single product, we are definitely going to make sure final URL expansion is not on. However, I do like to have text assets selected because I'm a big fan of using DSAs with search campaigns. They are dynamic search ads where they have the headlines automatically generated for you. So I trust that, and I trust text assets with PMAX. But that's going to be quite subjective. There'll be a lot of opinions about that, but that's just how I like to do it. Next thing, let's go to more settings and check that. This is all fine, so just keep as is. Okay guys, I'm just going to leave that, and then I'm going to get next. And now we can move on to our asset group. So what I'm going to do now is basically transfer all of my headlines, all of my long headlines, all of my descriptions, and my final URL into our new campaign. Okay, and from that, then I'm going to go through and show the other stuff. But for now, I'm going to quickly whiz back and forth in order to get this done for you. Okay. Okay, so now what I've done is populated our headlines, our long headlines, and our descriptions. For the sake of this video, I'm using a demo account, so you're going to see some products here and some logos that aren't relevant at all. But please ignore those. I'm just doing this for the demonstration purposes of this video. So our headlines and all our ad copy are done. Next thing we want to go on to is our images. And the best way to make sure you get your images is actually to go to this section here, and we want to input our final URL that we're going to be using in this section here. Click yes, and what this is going to do is scan our website, and we can see what images we can use directly from the websites. So here we go, we have some good images here. I'm going to go over a video of what you should be using in your product images for a PMAX campaign, as well as a video. The videos you should be using in terms of structure, so make sure to follow me for that. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be selecting these just randomly so we can get on. Cool. So there we have that there. Next thing we want to do is select our logo. For For the sake of this video, we're just going to put in a random one there, which is a man. So then we want to move on to videos. Now, the best tip you have for using videos is to make sure you have all the dimensions possible. Now, the main dimensions you want to be uploading are 16 by 9, which is like this for desktop. And then you also want to be uploading in story dimensions, so you can go on YouTube Shorts. You also have the option to upload in square as well, so do that if possible. But for the sake of this video, I don't have that. So I'm just going to be uploading 16 by 9 and YouTube Short dimensions. And what you want to do is grab the URL from your actual video on YouTube. It doesn't have to be listed publicly. It can be unlisted, which still gives you a link. And then you go to your videos here, and we go on search YouTube and input your URL. And for this, we're going to be uploading that there. So we have our 16 by 9, and then we go back to here, and we type in our YouTube Shorts. And we have that selected there, and we have 2 videos, so you have up to 5 videos you can use, but make sure they're very specific to your product or product groups. Don't be putting in random stuff. I see that all the time, and it is very irrelevant, and it really destroys your message match, which is very important to actually converting with Google Ads. So there we go. So now we have our ad copy, we have our images, we have our logo, and we have our videos done. Next thing we want to go down to is see what else we need to do. So let's scroll down here. So we have our business name, so RDX Sport will do for that. RDX Sports. Okay, cool. So we have our business name. Next thing we want to do is populate our site links. Now you can either use this as the account level site links, or you can use them as campaign specific site links, not asset group specific site links. So in here you want to go through and make sure you populate some site links that will be relevant for this product or for this campaign. And if you don't have any site links, in the ad copy framework that is linked in the description, I do also have a link to multiple different site links examples that you can use for your own campaigns. So feel free to use those, as well as call out examples. I have absolutely loads here actually. I think there's like 60 or 70 here. So make sure to go through and use those for yourself. Okay, so for this example, I'm just going to leave it at account level. Then we want to go to our call to action. And by default, it has it at automated, which is recommended. But I typically just go to shop now, because we are doing this for e-commerce, and that's very, very normalized and CTA that people are very used to. So our call to action is shop now. Then we want to go down to more asset types. And in this section here, you want to make sure you have your call outs selected. This is already pre-selected to account level call outs. But if you want to be more specific, make sure to add in your call outs from the list I provided as well. Next thing we want to go down to is more options. And at this point here, we have our display path. Now our display path doesn't actually optimize our campaign. It's just for better housekeeping as such. It's not even that relevant. It's not going to do too much, but it's not totally necessary to do. It's just more for housekeeping, as I've said. So there you go. And now we want to go down to our audience signal. Now I have created a video on search themes and also audience signal, how to best structure those. So make sure to go over those videos in depth there. But for this example, I'm just going to gloss over this so I don't have this video too long. But my tactic for search themes when you're starting off a brand new campaign is to use the keyword planner. Use the keyword planner like this. So what I've done here is inputted just one keyword, which is a keyword very relevant to this product, which is a sauna suit. And I'm going to go to get results. And what I do now is filter down by average monthly searches to see the types of keywords we have and a demand there is for it. And all I'm going to do is go down and make sure to select all of the keywords that are relevant to this product and have high demand as well. So they're all very, very similar. We even have RDX sauna suit there, Adidas sauna top. Okay. So yeah, there you go. So you have the option to add up to 25 search themes. Now, I don't think that's very necessary, especially if you're running this for a specific product. It's going to be a bit easier to fill in all 25 if you're doing it for a product group. However, for one specific product, it's probably a little bit unnecessary to do 25 because they're going to be very, very similar keywords. So I have 17 selected here, and I'm literally going to go to copy, and we're going to go back to our campaign, and I can literally Command V and input our search themes from the keyword planner. It's very, very simple. Now, I'm not going to fill in the audience signal here, but a good tip for your data is to use previous customers. So what we want to try and upload from our Shopify website or whatever you're using is a customer list of previous purchasers of this product. Now, I went over this in more detail in my video, so make sure to watch that. But you also might not be eligible for a customer match list yet on your Google Ads account. And if that's the case, you basically just want to fill in this with as many relevant data sources as possible. Some of the ones that I like to use are website visitors for your whole website, but also website visitors for that specific product page. So those are two examples there I like to use. Next thing we want to go down to is our interest in demographics, and here is where we type in a keyword relevant to our product. And what we want to do is just make sure we only add in relevant affinity audiences, in-market audiences, or custom segments. Now, I've done this video before, so I know there's only one relevant audience, which is fight and wrestling fans. And yeah, other than that, they're not particularly relevant. I could add in Mike Tyson. So I'm going to add in those two there, Mike Tyson information. I don't know if that's really relevant to it, but basically what I'm trying to suggest to you here is you want to be specific with the information you give to Google. You don't want to just throw in random audiences or interests because you think more is better. Okay, more is better, but relevant is also better. More is good, but only if it is relevant. If it's not relevant, don't include it because you're going to really throw off the algorithm from tailoring it to the perfect audience for you. Okay, so make sure everything you input into your campaigns is relevant, and for the sake of it, not just adding in random audiences because you think that would be better for my campaign because I have more audiences for it to use. No, that's not the case. So then we go down to demographic. And what we could do for this campaign, because it is very specific to men, we could deselect females and only have male selected and unknown. And because of our age, we probably aren't targeting 65 plus years old. So what I'm going to do here is select it to 54. Now you want to make sure you research that one properly and make sure you are including the age range of your ideal customer there. But I'm just going to guess that 54 is probably the top sort of age range for this product. And next thing we want to go down to is additional demographics here. And that's fine. I'm just going to leave that the same. And then we have the option to name our audience, which I do recommend you to do because you can recycle this onto your other products in your asset groups. And then we want to go on to next. Now we want to select our budget. For this example, I'm just going to do whatever it says here, but you want to make sure you put in your daily budget and you're pacing to your monthly budget you have. So here you go. Campaign name. We put that one in there. Okay, so there we go. So we want to make sure we have all blue ticks here, and we'll just let it check for errors. And are we okay? Yes, we are okay. Next thing we want to do is publish our campaign. Now we've only made one asset group, but I like to call this the master asset group. Now what I like to go do is duplicate this asset group in Google Ads Editor and tweak the ad copy, tweak my images, tweak my videos, and obviously change up the listing groups. Okay, now because I like to do that, it's just the most efficient way to do that. You can do that in platform. If you go to your asset groups, you now do have the option to duplicate. If you go to here, duplicate this asset group. However, I like to do it in Google Ads Editor because it's a lot quicker. However, our final thing we need to do is go to our listing groups here because we want to make sure this is not selected to all products because we're not advertising all products. Now, because we're advertising it's product specific, this is going to be very easy to find. Now, having an organized listing group is actually quite hard to do if it's not already done within Shopify, and typically it's not. What I use is a feed manager with most of my clients, and that gives me the option to really make sure my organization of my product types or brands is on point, which makes doing the segmentation of listing groups a lot easier, especially when you're working with clients who have around 5,000 SKUs to run off. It makes it so much easier. But because we're doing a higher ROAS campaign, we can just go to our product item ID, and then we want to select our product, but also the color variance and also the size variance. So it won't just be selecting one product here. You need to make sure you're selecting all of the variants, which for this example, just pretend those are all variants. Okay, so there we go. Then we want to go and save, and we want to make sure we have those selected there, and everything else in all products is excluded, which it is. Okay, so there we go. So that one is actually done now, guys. So as I said, next thing I would do now is go to Google Ads Editor, duplicate this, and then change out the ad copy, change out the images, and change out the videos. Okay, and that's that one for that one, guys. If you found that one useful, please subscribe. I have loads of other content on Performance Max on my channel. And yeah, if you want to ask me any questions, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. That'll be linked in the description as well. Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you on the next.